Greetings and welcome to our show, Fresh Geek Context. It is here we discuss insightful views on a routine bi-weekly basis over the incredibly nerdy things we can't stop talking about. To take you on this dorky ride are your host, Josh.
Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay.
And myself, Jay, so why don't you take a seat, sit back, relax. We're here to do all the heavy lifting. It's about to get nerdy. This is episode 19.
Music? Music what? Are we listening to music?
I was thinking music services and its transformation music has gone through the ages.
Like from vinyl till now?
Well, if you're talking about music distribution, then yes, vinyl.
All right. Episode 19, digital music.
And the pros and cons of all the music services that are available as of this recording of this show.
And there's a wide world we're living in, so for safety purposes...
Safety?
Well, sanity purposes. We'll be discussing the music services that are available in the United States only right now.
Yeah, we love you international Fresh Geeks, but as soon as we get our international correspondence, we're sticking to the States for now.
Okay, so why are we doing this?
What?
Why are we discussing music?
Why not discuss music?
Well, I know you said off air you want to discuss music eventually on the show, but why?
Do geeks not love music?
Of course they do. We do.
So here's the question.
Shoot. Okay. Ooh, it's a scene. Okay.
Yes. Just graduated high school.
Yep.
I'm attending an Oklahoma college.
Okie dokie. Random, but sure.
I have a penchant for country music, and I'm interested in becoming a school teacher. I want to listen to music, and I'm done streaming music from YouTube on my Acer computer. I have a little bit of money to spend on music.
Okay.
Which service should I choose?
Why do I feel like the answer isn't the obvious Spotify or Apple Music?
Because there isn't a right answer. It's up to the Oklahoman to decide. What?
Oklahoman. It's a funny word. Never mind. Okay, so this is actually a public service announcement.
This is an educational tool I wish I had when I was choosing a music service.
All right, so what are the top 5?
Top 5. Okay, so there's Spotify, there's Apple Music, there's Pandora, Google Play Music. Is it music or store?
Yeah.
I don't know, actually. Okay,
Music.
So Google Play Music and Tidal.
Right. There's also, don't forget, Amazon Music.
True.
We got iHeartRadio. We
Yeah.
got Deezer, SoundCloud, TuneIn, Shazam, Pandora, Slacker, YouTube Music, Napster,
Stop. Okay. All right. We said 5. That's it.
Okay. Well, I mean, I could see why you want to discuss this today. So how do we discuss this?
Well, I legitimately forgot Amazon Music, so high five there. But the others aren't real music services.
Explain, please.
Well, SoundCloud, while awesome, doesn't provide Oklahomans the ability to listen to the latest Carrie Underwood albums.
Why are you gravitating towards Carrie?
Moving along, many of the aforementioned services do not provide a place to listen to music on demand.
Commercial music. Gotcha. So what services are out?
iHeartRadio.
But why? It says here unlimited skips for $4.99 and for the PC $5.99 for mobile. When it's commercial music?
Right. But
what's the difference then?
Well, there's a difference with on-demand music and radio.
Not live radio though, right? Digital radio?
Yes, digital radio means you can listen to music that is played for you. You can pause it and you can skip it, but you can't backtrack to a previous song.
That's weird.
Yeah, in some services you can rewind in some ways, but it's limited.
I legitimately don't understand the difference. Why is it important?
Because it's how people get paid. It's following this old model of terrestrial radio stations and how royalties get paid. A DJ on a radio station is paid to play music by contracts and deals with distribution companies. When a song is played on air, with a couple with commercials, royalties are divvied out. If the DJ were to repeat a song on paid airtime, that would eat into the other artists and companies that were scheduled to play. So digital music is the same in a way, but the difference is you are the DJ, sorta, and you can pause the music, sorta.
I sorta think I understand now. So SoundCloud has lots of music, but you can't listen to the newest Gorillaz album when it comes out.
Right.
Okay, so no SoundCloud, no Shazam.
No, Shazam is a music identifying application that has a lot of built-in support for other music services.
There's still a lot, though.
And that's why we're sticking to 5. No, okay, 6? 6, right?
6 is a better number. It's more
6
even.
is better. Okay, I guess so. So, Okay, so here's just what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we can do, like you said, 3 for the first half. We'll come after the break with some learning time, and then we'll do the following 3, and probably talk about the pitfalls of what happens with this digital music. And this is not going to be the only one. Obviously, we're going to be talking about this again.
For
Correct?
sure.
Okay. So I'm thinking for the first half, we do Spotify. I think that's like the biggest one.
Arguably so, yeah, definitely.
Okay. Then we'll do Google Play Music. Isn't that what it's called?
Yes.
And then we'll do Amazon. And we'll have a discussion and then we'll break. How about that?
That sounds like a plan.
Okay, let's talk. Which one do you want to do first? We have Spotify, Google Play Music, and Amazon.
Let's get the big guy out of the way. Let's do Spotify.
Let's do Spotify. So, I have Spotify. Do you have Spotify?
I did. I was a very, very big Spotify user for the longest time.
You were. So what happened? What changed?
So Apple Music changed. So,
Apple Music changed.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one a little bit later. But
of course,
I switched from Spotify to Apple Music. But before Apple Music, Spotify, I use it all the time. Very, very, very great service that I liked. I still like it. I still have the free service.
I actually still have it, so
yeah.
I don't know. Everyone has their preference, obviously, for their own reasons. But let's talk about history, because we always talk about context in this show. When was the first time you heard about Spotify?
First time I heard about Spotify, it's been years now. But I believe a friend of mine was the first one to use it, and then I was like, oh, what's Spotify? And then from there, I downloaded the app and then started using it from there. I think it was at a party, actually.
Now here's going to be the kicker of the conversation to put everything in context here.
Sure.
What song did you first listen to, or what song do you associate with Spotify when you first started listening to it?
Ooh, that's a good question. So me, this is a music episode. So I'm very into like rock, into punk pop, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. My favorite artist is Blink-182.
Mm-hmm.
So them, and then also my second favorite artist or group rather is Yellowcard. So usually when I go to any music service, I will seek out those two bands first and see what type of music they have on there. So I'm pretty sure at the time I was listening to Spotify, I was listening more Yellowcard because they were coming out with more stuff around that time.
Gotcha.
So I'm pretty sure I searched them first on Spotify and then and found the entire catalog, because I didn't have all of their albums at that point, like I do now. But that's that's what I associate Spotify with at that point.
Okay. So did you remember seeing a commercial for it, or was this strictly word of mouth because you were in school or at work? Like, what was
strictly word of mouth?
Strictly word of mouth. Okay.
Yeah. Interesting. I don't think I've ever seen any advertisements for Spotify now that I think about it.
That's why I'm asking. Like, I just find it interesting how the word gets out about these things, because certain things, and obviously later in the show we're going to be talking about some services that were massive successes that was strictly word of mouth. So Blink-182 and Yellowcard, simply because you sought it out within the service.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Let's talk user interface, because user interface is something which is important, because it is this thing that you have to interact with. And if it's built incorrectly, if there are either bugs or things aren't easy to find, that will make the service much harder to use.
Right, exactly. I mean, for me, it's very sleek. I like dark colors. So the fact that the app is, is like in a dark mode right off the bat, I'm just like, yes, I love it.
Can you change that?
I'm not sure, actually.
I never looked to change it because I've always just left it. But
exactly, same here.
Okay.
But it's definitely very easy to navigate. The desktop version as well as the mobile version. So it's very easy to search, very easy to get to your library, get to the radio section. and gets
There
your
is a radio
playlists.
section.
There is a radio section, yeah.
There's a radio section. Now, this is another thing that we're going to be talking about for all of these 6 services.
Yes.
The radio section, is it playing music streaming?
Yes.
Is it different for every person that listens to it? Like, is it like terrestrial radio?
It is different in the sense that you can customize it. So let's say a song comes on that I'm not 100% fond of in the radio station. I can actually thumbs up or thumbs down that song and therefore customize that station to tune in for me, basically.
So the radio station that you listen to on Spotify can be 100% different than what I listen to.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
Which is really, really cool because that brings that personal feeling to it.
Is it, though? I wonder sometimes if that's a good thing.
What do you mean?
Well, there is something to be said, which we don't have time to really go through all of this because out of all of these, we're not going to mention some of the other digital, types of music that exist out there.
Sure.
Sirius XM is one big one.
Right.
There's another one. I don't know why it's slipping my mind right now. But that's neither here or there. There are a lot of, satellite, based radio stations that are out there that mimic what terrestrial radio was doing for decades.
Right.
There is something to be said about a person that goes on air and says, I'm going to play this for the masses. When you're getting this digital radio station, who is giving you that music? Who's the person or what's the thing that's delivering that music to you? You have to realize, terrestrial radio for years was based on the human element.
Right.
I heard this. I like this. I know this is going to be something that people are going to want to listen to over and over and over again. This is something that people are going to want to repeat. This is something that's going to be a massive one-hit wonder. This is going to be this is going to be the new band. Listen to these guys.
Right.
There's the follow the leader aspect of it. But with digital, you are the master of your own universe. So you could live essentially in this little digital tech bubble and have nothing penetrated. And then all of a sudden, everyone's listening to the song that they like, but you've never heard of it because you never were open to say like, well, I didn't like this. So the system, the software said, he's not going to like this one because he said no to that. You know what I mean?
Which makes sense, yeah.
Exactly. So, that's why I say, the radio thing is actually becoming a lot more interesting to me, but we'll talk more about that. So you can customize your radio in Spotify.
For sure.
Okay. What else? Because I know playlists is a big thing on pretty much all of them.
Oh yeah, definitely. So yeah, you can individually search for songs, which is cool. Mm-hmm. So you can individually search for one song, add it to, make a bunch of different playlists, whether you want to, work out, just casual, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really, really easy to, put them into playlists and see all the songs that you have available to you, which is really, really great.
Got it.
I feel like it's not overwhelming at all, and it's a great platform. You can also, so we're going to get into this as well, but if you do the paid version, because there are 2 different versions, there's a free and a paid.
Yeah.
If you do the paid version, there are no advertisements at all, and you can do unlimited skipping of songs and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
And you can listen to it offline, which is great. So those playlists that you created, you don't have to be connected to the internet. You can download them and then go ahead and listen to them wherever you like.
Okay. I like this.
It's really cool. Yeah, it's really cool.
Let's talk about integration into other services, because I know that's a big thing, because you don't want to be a lonely island.
Sure.
That's Lonely Island. That's a comedy musical trope, which sometimes features Justin.
This is not the tale of Jack Sparrow that we're doing right now, just so you realize.
No, not Jack Sparrow. But the comedy troupe that I'm referring to is the guys that appear sometimes on SNL.
That I just did a reference to that song. Anyway, moving on.
Oh, I guess it's early and I'm still waking up. So, yeah. Playlists. I think playlists are something else to mention.
Yeah.
playlist. Obviously, you can create a playlist, but shared playlist is something that's a little bit more a desired quality and a desired feature of any music service that you're using.
For sure.
It does have shared playlists. This is something that I use quite often. There is a person that I talk to fairly often, and every single time I have a song, I can put that in there. She can listen to it whenever she feels. So it's kind of like the virtual mixtape for the ages, and you can just keep building it forever. And if she doesn't like it, she can also collaborate, and she can put things on there for me to listen to. So it's this really nice kind of back and forth collaboration. I really like collaborative playlists in Spotify.
It's really cool, yeah.
So
Definitely
what else is
feature?
Yeah. And we were talking about integration and other service. Spotify is something that's built in to the Starbucks app. Now, I don't go to Starbucks. Do you go to Starbucks?
Every once in a while, not so much. I'm more of a Dunkin' guy.
Dunkin', yes. See, that's nice and simple. I don't like the tall frappe latte chinos. It's not me.
Nope.
But it is built into the Starbucks app, and when music is playing, you can also go into the app and get it through Spotify, which I think is a really cool feature. I wish more, companies could do that.
Right.
You're left using either Shazam or SoundHound or whatever music tagging service that exists.
Right.
I don't know if there's any other, popular services. That's the only one that's really coming to my mind. Let's talk about ads, because ads is also a really important thing.
Sure, definitely.
So how do the ads work?
Yeah, so if you do the free version, you don't pay anything. You get advertisements.
Mm-hmm.
However, there is a good amount of features that you also lose from doing a no paid subscription. Well, not paying rather.
Right.
You can't pick and choose the songs that you want. If you let's say find an album on there on the free version,
right,
and you want to listen to that, you want to listen to one specific song on that album, you're actually unable to. You have to shuffle through the entire album until you get to the song that you want to listen to. And in between that, you will hear advertisements.
Interesting.
Yes.
I did not know that. I guess, for a long time, I know Spotify had a free version. And I guess I never chose to listen to albums. I just listened to singles. And when you listen to singles, you could do that, like that on-demand kind of service.
Exactly.
But they just changed that. I know they're aggressively trying to move away from that free tier.
Right.
Because I don't know if it's working out for them or other music streaming services, for that matter.
For sure.
But it is a house. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, even though you do get advertisements and things of that nature, you still have access to the radio portion and stuff like that. So what you're truly losing is just the ability to, listen to individual songs on demand.
Gotcha.
As well as listening to advertisements. But you can, and downloading offline, you do lose that as well. But you can still listen to the radio portion. You can still listen to albums, but again, you just gotta shuffle through a few songs if you want to listen to one specific one from that album.
Duly noted. So, if you pay, no commercials.
Yep.
I don't feel like it's overwhelming. I don't feel like it's I feel like it's kind of there. Like, I don't get things kind of popping up in my face, which is important to me, because when I feel like I'm interacting more with the application rather than just getting to my music as easily as quickly as possible,
sure,
that's a detriment to the service.
Yeah.
There's also offline use, which is great for long trips, whether you're going on a road trip, you're trying to save your data. If you're going to a trip down to Mushroom Kingdom or the subway or the airport, all of these things are important. If you're listening to music for hours on end, if there's that album that you haven't listened to and you have the time to actually listen to it, data can work against you. So
definitely
depending on your carrier and what plan that you have, you want to be nice on that allowance. Let's put it that way.
For sure. As for data, when I was, a heavy user on Spotify, Spotify was definitely the number one app taking up all my data. So,
Right.
if you stream a lot, you're gonna feel it
Right.
for sure. But in the end, I'd say Spotify, very, very good service. I recommend.
I recommend too. It's a household name, so it's very easy to get to. I'm pretty sure people who are listening to this, you'll be able to say, "Hey, have you used Spotify at one point in time in your life?" And the answer will be the undoubtedly yes.
More than likely, for sure.
We'll get also to this towards the end, but there are different tiers, and the tiers are important when you're actually signing up for these things. There is a student option, so if you're a college student and you have student email, you should be able to sign up for the student option. We'll actually put the prices down because I don't want to bog it down with prices now
For sure.
and have that, change your mind because you may not think it's worth it.
Right.
So there's a student option, there's a single option, and there's also family accounts. So if you want to add other email addresses for people that have Spotify, you can add them on there, and it will be better for you to manage that way. If you have a family that likes to listen to music, which I'm pretty sure most families do,
Definitely.
family accounts are going to be very important. So
sure.
That's our review on Spotify. I think we'd like it, right?
Yep. I
like
say
it.
I like it. I like it.
Okay, let's go to Google Play. Now,
Sure.
Google Play Music, I don't have, so I'm going to ask you all the questions because I know you have it.
Correct.
Google Play Music, I would say, is not as known as the other music rivals that are out there, like Spotify, like Pandora, or Apple Music.
Correct.
But I feel like since it's Google, why not make music?
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean,
They have the gravitas and the money to do it, so why not?
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, so Google Play Music is pretty cool. Just to, the kind of like Spotify, the first time I heard about it was actually from when I switched to Android for a year.
Mm-hmm.
So I've
I never
always
understand
used,
why you did that, by the way, but go ahead.
I wanted to try something different. So I've always been an iOS user from the iPhone 3G because I could not afford the first one.
Neither could I.
Yeah, so since the iPhone 3G, I've been an iOS user. However, one year I decided I wanted to, just try out Android just to see
I
what it was
remember
like.
that year. And I looked at you and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I still have that phone. It's lying around here
You
somewhere.
played yourself.
I did.
You played yourself. Another one.
I Google played myself. Anyway.
The puns are ridiculous.
The puns. Anyway, so yes, I used it on that phone because, on Android, there's no iTunes.
Oh, right.
And I, of course, had all my music on iTunes, and I would sync it over to my phone. This was pre-Apple Music and all that stuff, of course, when you still had to sync your phone to your computer.
Good times.
Good times. And so I was like, well, I have all these songs. Android does not work with iTunes. How am I getting all these songs onto my phone? And the answer was Google Music. So the cool thing about Google Music that most of these services don't share except for one, the one other one on this list, is that you can definitely get music from there. You can listen to the radio on there. You can listen to individual songs on there. However, the cool thing is you can actually upload your own songs that you've owned, that you've purchased from, like, let's say iTunes, like I have, and upload it to their servers and have it in their Google Cloud. And then you can access that from, desktop, from your Android phone. Now on iOS, they have an iOS app.
So there's one. So yes, there is another service that does do this.
Yes.
So it's Apple, and like I said, we will go through this and what actually it does.
Yeah.
But one of these services makes me very uncomfortable because whenever I put my things on their services, I'm like, what are you doing with it though?
Would that service be Google service?
Yeah, like what are you like? I don't know. Sometimes I got to be honest with you guys. I do use Google, but I spend, I want to say 40 to 50% of the time asking out loud, why do I continue using the service? It's too good. And then the answer usually is, it's because it is too good to be true. There is a lot of questionable doubt of whether what they're doing with, your content or your identity on their services is, I don't know, worthy. Is it ethical? I think is the word I'm looking for. It's not. Is it ethical?
It's a word.
I don't know. That absolutely is a word. But is it ethical? Is what I often ask myself, asking out loud.
I've been a Googler since, I don't know, like 2005, 2006?
I think everyone has. As soon as Gmail came out, I was on board.
Oh, I was on that Gmail beta.
Yeah, so was
I.
I.
I mean, everyone was on that Gmail beta for years because that thing was in beta for years. But like the original invitations, I was in on that. So I mean, at this point, honestly, Google knows pretty much everything about me. They know my musical taste. They know what I search for.
Still makes me uncomfortable.
They know me. I'm pretty sure if I walk into the Google headquarters, they'll be like, "Oh, hey, what's up, Josh?"
Don't like that. That makes me uncomfortable. Okay, so let's move along. Google Play Music. Is this separate from YouTube?
It is separate from YouTube. So YouTube has their own app to YouTube Music. We're not really going to talk about that too much because that's more for like videos, and you can listen to music videos on your phone and stuff.
So
like
what's the difference? Because it almost feels a little strange for me that they would have these two different types of services that are very similar. It would, on the outside looking in, it would be, I feel, ideal to kind of merge these services together.
It would, but for reasons. But you got people out there that love listening to the music and then watching the music videos. But then you got people who don't really care about music videos and just want the music portion of it. Like me, I used to like watching music videos, like good ones. Like I used to watch the Michael Jackson videos. Like those are short films,
Yep.
Those are short films, so they're awesome.
You're right.
But nowadays, videos to me, I'm just like, it's just the same thing over and over. So I'd rather just listen to the audio, put my headphones on, put my phone in my pocket, and just walk. So there are those people. Little
note here before we continue. Yeah. It occurred to me because I know a lot of people complain about MTV. MTV stinks and used to be good. It used to play music videos. Do you want to know the reason why they stopped playing music videos?
Is it because of Google?
Yeah, well, it's because they were anticipating with the advent of the internet that many people would be able to just watch the video online whenever they choose.
Right.
So instead of sticking to the model of what they were doing, they decided to develop original. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean it's great content or even good content.
Jersey Shore!
But they did pretty much revolutionize and bring to the masses the reality television format, which has been used pretty much in virtually every single basic cable and even local channel
for sure
content. So bravo for MTV, to know what was happening before it happened. And it worked out for them, it was profitable, and they still remained ahead of the curve for the meantime. I don't know, what is MTV even doing right now?
They had Jersey Shore for a bit.
That was over a decade ago now.
That's why I said for a bit.
For a bit.
They should bring back Celebrity Deathmatch, by the way. Now that
they totally should. Maybe that'll be a nostalgia episode for another episode. But
yeah, for sure.
Let's get back to Google Play. Let's talk about exclusive deals, because exclusive deals is a point of contention. We discussed this with Spotify.
I don't think Google has any, honestly.
I mean, they might, but they're very secretive, those guys. So.
Right, exactly. So pretty much every song that through these services, I kind of search for like the same stuff, and again, Yellow Card, Blink, whatever. And for the most part, everything has the same content, so that's good. I could find everything on every platform, which is great.
So you don't see any exclusive to Google Play. You just listen to music.
Pretty much, yeah.
Do they have a store where you can buy the music?
You can. So they used to.
They used to. What, they got rid of it?
I'm trying. So now I'm trying to remember, because I remember back when I used the Android phone, they were like, "Yeah, buy this song, buy this album for $10."
Got it.
Or a dollar or whatever it was.
User interface. What is your impressions on this? Because I have zero.
Yeah. So the UI is
exposure.
pretty normal. I would suggest. Again, you have thumbs up and downs if you do the radio portion.
There is a radio portion.
There is a radio portion. So you
And
can
is this the
customize
same like Spotify where you're customizing it?
Correct. So you can customize it to your liking as well.
I don't know if I like that. Go ahead.
Yeah, but you can do that. You can, skip songs. There are no advertisements again
If
in
you pay for
the
it.
paid
Is there
version.
a free?
Correct.
Is there a free version though?
There is a free version. In the free version, however, just like Spotify, you cannot select individual songs to play unless they're your own uploaded songs.
Got it.
If you want to be able to, just do on-demand songs like whatever you want, that is in the paid version.
Got it.
Free version limits you to the radio portion, pretty much.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there are
Interesting.
ads, again.
And ads. And is there a free trial? I think we discuss a free trial for Spotify? I think we may have missed that.
We may have missed that, but there is a free 30-day trial.
Okay. And for Google Play,
For Google Play. I believe for Spotify as well.
30 days.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Most of these services are 30 days except for, again, one.
One, which we'll get to after the break.
Exactly.
So okay, so that's it. I don't have this. I don't really know if this explanation would actually want me to go to there. Again, trying to distance myself from Google as much as possible.
Definitely. I would recommend this if you're personally. I would recommend this if you're an Android user.
That's what I was just gonna say. I'd say like
Yeah.
if I were an Android user and I were gung ho about Gmail, I'd be like, yeah, absolutely, go for it. It seems like this would be very much in tune with all of the other services that Google is offering.
Exactly. And by the way, also on Android, the interface for mobile is a little bit different in that you do have widgets on there.
Is it a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing. So you can actually, in the little widget, it'll show you what song's playing, and you can skip and pause right from wherever you are. So if you're in a completely different app, you can still pause and do all that stuff, which is really
Gotcha.
cool.
Okay. All right. So that ends.
So it's convenient on their platform for sure.
And that concludes our. I don't think there's anything else. I think we covered all the basics.
Pretty much it.
And now let's talk about Amazon. Now you have Amazon, right?
Right. So I have. So
that brings
Amazon
you to
Prime.
that brings you to a grand total of 3 different music services.
That is correct.
That's crazy, man. I don't know if I can't.
I know. Well, to
Not
be
that I
fair,
can't. I could do it. I just don't know if I want to do it. Let's put it that
right.
way.
Well, to be fair, Spotify, I was a heavy user, but not so much now. Google Play, I was when I was using Android, not so much now.
Okay.
Amazon is probably the least used out of these 3 so far.
Gotcha.
But I am a Prime subscriber, so I automatically have access to Amazon Prime, Amazon Music, pretty much.
Wait. You're telling me if I have an Amazon Prime subscription, I can get Amazon Music?
That is correct. You will get
Really?
You'll get a part of Amazon Music, and we'll
What
get
is
there in
a
a second.
part of Amazon Music? What does that mean?
Yeah, so if you're a Prime member, you automatically have access to their music section, which has about 2 million or so songs. Which 2 million is a lot, right? It's a good number.
I have questions.
Yeah, but Amazon also has something called Amazon Music Unlimited, which you have access to the entire catalog. So
Okay.
way more than 2 million songs at that point.
But, like, is it 2 million of songs that they're choosing for me? Or is it 2 million songs that I choose? Like, I don't understand how that works.
It's 2 million songs of their choosing. So they're restricting you to this little pot of 2 million songs that you can listen to.
Interesting. Why 2 million? Why not 3?
Who knows? It's Amazon.
Yeah, okay.
But even with I only have the Prime version, so I only have access to the 2 million. So, but still, even with the 2 million, all the songs that I personally listen to, I've been able to look for. I've been able to make playlists. I've been able to go through the interface of the application. Which, by the way, I will say They have a really, really cool interface. So while you're searching for the app, this is something smart that they really did. I really, really liked it when I found it out. So at the bottom of the screen, you have, while you're playing a song, you have like the play button that way, and you know what song's playing because it has a little tiny portion of the artwork in a little bubble.
All right.
So the cool thing is, while you're searching for other songs, in most other applications, you kind of have to hit the tab, and then the tab will bring up the entire artwork interface, and then bring up the play, pause, all that stuff. And it takes you out of what you're searching for, because then you have to swipe it back down and then go back to what you were doing.
That seems really annoying.
It does seem really annoying. But with Amazon, their app, what you can do is if you actually just press your thumb on the little artwork at the bottom, around the bubble comes different actions that you can do. So you can play, skip, shuffle, repeat from that little tiny bubble and not leave where you are, which I thought was really, really cool. I like that little bubble thing that they got going on there.
That's interesting. So the user interface is interesting.
I think it's very slick. Okay. Very smart. So, all right. For sure.
All right.
But yeah, you can, again, create playlists. You can add individual songs into like your My Music section.
Right.
And then you can do like offline mode and stuff like that.
Let's talk about exclusivity.
Sure.
Do they obviously they have a store that I know for a fact.
They do.
Do they have new releases, but do they have exclusive releases?
They actually do. There was this country singer that they actually what's his name?
Gareth. The Oklahoman is thrilled with this, by the way.
He is, or she is. Gareth something. I forget his name, but he's a country singer.
Gotcha.
Apparently, the only way you can stream his stuff is through Amazon.
Really?
Yeah, which I thought was very weird, but I guess, that works.
So a little interesting tidbit here. What would you say is the most popular genre of the country?
I thought you meant, yeah.
Musical genre as well.
Musical genre.
Right.
I mean, if I were to guess, I would say country music.
Right. Most people say pop music, but it's actually not true because there's actually more states that listen to country music than pop, because pop music is like, it's popular in like, the middle of America, the Midwest and all that, but country music is way more popular there.
Yeah, definitely.
So pop music is really, pop, hip hop, dance music. That's really like the eastern and the western seaboard.
I was about to say, I think that pop music is popular like on the two ends, and then in the middle it's like, nope, country.
Yeah. In the world, pop music is pop music, because, now you're worldwide.
Right.
Like Pitbull. But moving along.
Mr. Worldwide?
Mr. Worldwide. Or Mr. 305. The country music, it was an interesting tidbit. Like somebody had said, like country music was the most popular music in the country. And I initially wanted to say, no, you're wrong. But it's just the truth. There's just more people in this country that listen to country music.
For sure.
It's not bad. It's like, I listen to it a little bit more now that I'm a little bit older, but I don't seek it out. Like if it's good and it catches my ear and I feel like I want to, skip back to the beginning of the track, I'll do that. It doesn't happen very often. Just being honest, doesn't happen often.
Same here. I mean, if it sounds good, I'm like, all right, that sounds pretty okay. I may listen to it again, but if otherwise, I'm like, I'm good.
Okay. Playlist. I know we discussed this before. Can you create playlists? Like, how does that work?
Yeah. So if you look for a song, and you kind of like tap on it, you have the choice of putting it into the My Music, which is just everything, or you can put it into a specific playlist of your choosing. You can create one or put one, if you already have.
And all of these, because now we're on the third service, all of these songs are distributing music in the format of MP3s, right?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, Spotify, if you download it, I'm fairly certain that's an MP3.
Correct.
Same thing with, I mean, it'd be silly if Google Play didn't do that. Like, what are you doing, guys? Amazon, I have used Amazon. I have purchased, I don't know why I was purchasing music on Amazon. Like, I'm not on Amazon on a regular basis for me to say, like, yeah, let me go get this song. Right. I may have had a free credit or something like that. So I said, I'll get this. Sure. But I know it came to my computer as an MP3. But I mean, where is it that you're storing this music? Are you playing it on a web player? Because that's like when we start getting it, because that's a service. You can listen to it in the app, but if you're on a computer, what does that look like?
Then it streams through the desktop, pretty much. So you're not.
What do you mean streams to the desktop? What does that mean?
So it's a web-based portal. So you go to Amazon.com.
So it's a virtual player.
Exactly, it's a virtual player.
Gotcha. Same with Google Play, I'm imagining, because Spotify has an application that you can just download. Correct,
yeah. So Google Play is the same as Amazon. They have a virtual portal.
Player. Okay. I don't know how I feel about that, but whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about ads.
So there's actually no advertisements because all of their services require a subscription of some kind.
Gotcha. So there's no free version.
There is no free version.
Gotcha.
Yeah, all versions of Amazon Music require some type of subscription or another.
Okay, interesting. I did not know that, but now we do.
Yep.
So unlimited skips, is that how it works?
That is correct. Unlimited.
Is there a radio option?
There is a radio portion.
There is a radio portion.
Yes, you can do stations.
And so unlimited skips, I'm assuming.
Correct.
Okay. I feel like that's very predictable for Amazon.
For sure.
There's a radio portion. And now is that same as Google and Spotify?
In terms of, well, if you do the...
the radio, personalized radio?
If you do the subscription services for them, then yes.
Okay. So still no live radio. Still no somebody that says, I have a song that I want to play for you.
Right, exactly. Everything is, you're customizing it yourself.
Okay. And now, I know you were talking about Music Unlimited. With Music Unlimited, you have access to the whole category. Is that correct?
Correct, yeah. With the regular Prime version, you're just down to a few 2 million songs. With Unlimited, that has access to the whole category. Okay.
Now, there's a lot of pricing options, right? Because do you want to do this now, or do you want to save that for the end? Because I know...
Well, the only I want to mention at least one price because...
Mention one, and then we'll do the rest later.
Exactly, and the reason I want to mention this one is because with this, that actually makes Amazon Music the cheapest option out there, technically.
Really?
However, does require you to have a little bit of an extra hardware. So, what that means, Amazon also sells something called an Echo or a Dot. With that, you, of course, have, the Alexa AI, right?
Right.
So, with Alexa, you can actually say, hey, Alexa, subscribe me to Amazon Unlimited. I hope I didn't accidentally, subscribe someone by accident.
That would be funny. And we're sorry, guys. We're sorry.
Sorry. Amazon, buy me Kingdom Hearts 3. Anyway. So with the Echo, you can have her sign up for you. And if you sign up through the Echo or through the Dot, it's actually only $3.99 to get the subscription, which is, again, the cheapest option out of all of these by far.
Oh man, somebody in Amazon's boardroom is getting paid a lot of money.
Definitely.
That's awesome.
So it does require to have that hardware, but if you have that hardware, boom, you're $4 and you get access to a whole bunch of songs and stuff.
So 2 million songs.
No, you get access to the whole catalog.
What?
Yeah, Music Unlimited
for $4.
For $4.
But you have to get Alexa and Unlimited.
You have to have the Echo, correct, in order to.
You have to have the Echo, and if you want to sign up for Unlimited, then it's $4.
Correct.
Really?
Yep.
I'm intrigued. Is there a free trial?
There is a free trial, 30-day free trial.
Interesting.
For sure. And then if you're an Amazon Prime member, obviously that's your free trial, pretty much. But yeah.
This is your free trial. Okay. That is all food for thought. I learned a lot about Amazon, Google. Sorry, Google. I'm like, I use you, but I don't. But whatever. Spotify, you guys are good. Keep up the good work. Amazon, you said exclusive deals already. I don't know. Was there anything else that we forget?
I think that's pretty much it. We'll do pricings at the end, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, we'll do pricings at the end.
So, yeah, I think we're pretty good.
So, we're going to go to break, and when we come back, we'll discuss learning time with...
the origin of the MP3.
Plus a continuation of the remaining 3 music services and the pros and cons. But first, royalty-free Fresh music.
So fresh.
The FGC podcast. We are your DJs, Jace and Josh.
FGC PDM, presented on Apple Podcasts on freshgeekcontext.com.
What the? I know. Family-friendly podcast. Where did that come from?
It's a little something I was working on.
That's awesome. Are we using that on every episode?
I mean, we can. Does it fit us in our show?
I feel like the radio station's from Parks and Recs, actually.
The douche?
The douche, yeah.
I'm Josh, by the way, and we have learning time for you.
Let's go. In this episode of Learning Time, we talk about the origin and the legacy of the MP3. MP3 is an audio coding format for digital audio. It reduces sound files significantly, but still allowing it to sound like CD quality to most listeners.
MP3 was designed by the Moving Picture Experts Group, otherwise known as MPEG, in 1988. An international team convened after the International Organization for Standardization, otherwise known as ISO, called for standards in audio encoding. The inventors on the MP3 patent are Bernhard Grill, Karl-Heinz Brandenburg, Thomas Sporer, Bernd Curtin, and Ernst Eberlein.
When first developing the format, the group wanted to create video for CD-ROM, which is the most popular format before the digital format MP3 took off. The compression of audio, which was the most complex and the one giving the best quality at low bit rates, called Layer 3. However, it wasn't so easy to get the encoding right the first time. Over and over again, they would play a song and hear how distorted certain parts of the song became, and eventually tuned it to have a voice in full fidelity.
In 1992, MP3 was fully realized. However, it did not catch on. ISO deemed it to be too complicated for use. The group then had to market the technology a little bit differently, and so companies like Tello System in Cleveland, Ohio, were the first to use MP3 to send audio over telephone lines from an off-site recording space to a separate studio. But in 1994, the group had a meeting to have the MP3 be the internet audio standard instead.
And so that is where the MP3 found its place. And while the group had a business model for it going forward, an early software called Winamp changed things up.
Because of the distribution model of the MP3 through Winamp, 2 very important things happened. The tech industry started to see its potential, and it also became a household name. In 1999, a fundamental digital shift occurred that would shake the old distribution model of brick-and-mortar stores to online consumption. 2 men led that charge, and their names were Sean.
Sean Fanning and Sean Parker, 2 friends that met on the internet and bonded over subjects like hacking, decided to pool their efforts and resources to create Napster, a free, peer-to-peer file-sharing service that had 80 million users at its peak.
The app shook the music industry to its core and riled feathers like the heavy metal band Metallica. Lawsuits rained down on the service, but its existence spawned other popular clones like LimeWire.
But before those clones took off, iTunes was created, which offered a safe, viable, easy-to-use option to get music to listen to, and still adhere to the same MP3 format. To this day, MP3s are still used in the tech landscape and even on podcasts like this one. Okay, so that was learning time. I feel like that stuff, I knew mostly all of it, except for the names on the MP3, like the guys that invented the MP3.
Yeah, I mean, you always hear about MP3, but you never know the people behind it. So that was kind of cool to actually know their names.
Yeah, right. So
it was nice.
Yeah. So what I was actually going to say is on this half, we're going to be talking about the other three services. And the three services that we're going to be talking about is Apple Music, Pandora, and Tidal. But before we do that, there was actually a very interesting article. I don't know if you read or heard anything about this. But on April 27th, 9to5mac.com, wrote an article by Chance Miller saying that Apple Music reportedly strikes a deal with popular social media app music.ly or just Musical.ly, which I think is
never know how to say that.
I just say Musical.ly. I'm just reading it.
So weird.
Why is it weird?
I don't know, because is it Musical.ly? Is it music.ly? It's just confusing to me.
Well, ask a teenager. I'm pretty sure they'll tell you. But I think this is an interesting, move, and it does two things here. Well, I don't know if it does two things, but I know what it does. It helps Musical.ly stay relevant, and it helps Apple Music stay relevant, because Musical.ly is a service that I know that a lot of people use.
Yeah, I know a good few people that use it too.
But from what I am understanding, with this membership, Apple Music doesn't own Musical.ly, and Musical.ly is just essentially getting access to use a lot more songs. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, it's just a collaboration between the two. Nobody's owning each other. Apple is just letting Musical.ly have access to their catalog of songs so that people can make more videos and stuff like that.
So I'm wondering how this is actually going to, what are the fruits of their labor going to look like? Are you going to see music and then share into Musical.ly and then the app will open up? What does that look like? I wonder.
I guess we'll find out when it fully comes to be supported, right? I think they said that it's going to come out next week or something like that. Correct? When it goes live.
Yeah, there was an update, and it was on the Apple's official Twitter account for Apple Music, saying that they announced their partnership. So I think that's interesting to see. I really want to see how this works out. I've used it a few times. I did not publish it, but I think this is going to be fun.
I think we need to leak that video of you using Musical.ly.
That's never going to happen. That's never going to happen. But let's get to it. Let's get to the other three services.
Since we're already talking about Apple Music, how about we start there?
I guess you're right. So Apple Music is the other giant on the other side of the fence. I say the other juggernaut is Spotify, which has been out, I want to say, before 2010. I know that they were kind of putting out betas, and I know I first heard about it in 2010, and they started in the UK, but it wasn't quite available in the United States.
Correct.
Apple Music debuted in 2015. There was mumbling about it on the rumor websites. Nothing really official, as is Apple fashion.
Of course.
So it's been out for over a year. I think by June,
it'll be 2 years.
It'll be 2 years now. Wow, I've been using the service for 2 years.
Same here.
Let's talk about it. So you and I both use it. I'm sure the way I use it is going to be inherently different than the way you use it.
For sure.
Okay. How do you use it?
So I use it because mostly with all the songs that I've had in my iTunes, building up for years and years.
Right.
As well as any new songs that come out. So another band I listen to is called All Time Low. Their new album comes out, I think, at the end of the month.
Interesting.
Or actually end of next month, rather. But they already have some singles out. What I can do is I can just take those singles that they have out already and just put it into my library, even if I don't own it. Right. And it integrates perfectly with the rest of my songs that I already have that I've purchased of theirs.
Right.
So the convenience of having my music plus, these other songs that I didn't really buy but are part of the service that I can listen to. Right. That seamless integration makes me like it a lot, for sure.
Okay. All right. So I do use it. I usually use it a little bit with Siri, which I'm going to get into because you were talking before the break with Alexa and how you can kind of listen to music with Amazon Music. Siri, you can essentially do the same thing, and it's pretty integrated. But I usually use it when I'm in the car. Hands-free is really awesome. You plug it in with the iPhone 7. You can literally just say, "Hey Siri, I want to listen to music," and it'll start playing music that's in your library already.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's how I use it. I like Apple Music. There are some things, because I use it, daily. There are some things that I wish that were improved. There were some gripes that I had with it. We'll go through that as we go along. Sure. I would say this is a fan favorite as well.
Definitely.
I think as of what was it? At the end of December 2016, was it 80 million users?
I believe so. They're kind of neck and neck with Spotify almost in the 2 years that it's been out.
I don't know how many people they have for.
Yeah, I think Spotify has slightly more, but they're in 2 years they've gotten very close to them.
I'm sorry, that's a gross exaggeration. Not 80 million, guys. I'm sorry. As of December 2016, it's 20 million.
Yeah.
I was 60 million off. I'm sorry. I don't know where I got that number from.
That's a lot of people. You just
a lot of people. I'm not assuming. I had clarification. I have it here on the website. It's on Wikipedia, and as of December 2016, the website is Music Business Worldwide. So there's
Mr.
that.
Worldwide? Is that run by Pitbull?
No. I don't think it has anything to do with another. But I'd say that the one big thing that has, which we're going to talk about after we discuss the 6, is exclusivity. I mean, there are a lot of deals that are coming out specifically with Apple Music that have been fairly public now.
Yeah, wasn't Drake one of them, right?
Drake is a big one. I'd say probably one of the biggest one. Taylor Swift is the other one.
Taylor Swift, yeah.
Massive.
After
exclusive.
their little fight that they had.
Oh my God, let's not even talk about that. What Josh is referring to is Taylor Swift wrote an open letter, as in, true Taylor Swift form. And Apple heard, and they responded.
Yeah.
And they responded with paying artists a little bit more.
Sure.
So I don't know. Maybe we can find that, article or news story and put that in the description. I don't know where to find it, but I'm sure Google will help us.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But yeah, Apple Music, I also use on a daily basis like you. Where I use it the most is actually in my car.
Yes.
So my car supports CarPlay, which, if you don't know what CarPlay is, what happens is when you plug your phone either wirelessly via Bluetooth or via the cable, and your car supports this software, the interface in the little on the dashboard will actually turn and look like iOS.
Right.
So you'll have the Messages app, the podcast, music app, stuff like that.
Right.
And it's the iOS interface.
Right.
So while I'm driving to work or I'm going to the supermarket, whatever, I plug in my phone, CarPlay pops up, and then I got the music app right there, and that's where I will listen to most of my music as well as podcasts.
Right.
But yeah, I generally access Apple Music from there, which is really, really cool.
And do you use it in other places? Do you use it at home?
I actually use it at home, but not from my phone. I use it from my Apple TV.
I knew it. Okay. Because I do use it on my Apple TV. It depends on the situation and how, what the situation is, what it calls for.
Yeah, if I'm cleaning around the house, I'll have the Apple TV on, playing music in the background.
Right. So I would say that Apple Music is absolutely accessible. Oh, the other thing that I was going to say was as far as exclusivity, Chance the Rapper was also a big artist that was exclusive. His first album, which is Coloring Book, came out last year, and it was exclusive, I think, for a week, maybe 2. I forget the exact number. But the reason why I'm bringing that up is because Chance the Rapper isn't signed with a label. So what's really interesting about this particular deal is that is promising and good news for independent artists that Apple and iTunes and Apple Music is calling to their service.
Right,
because if
they'll
you're
accept them.
Exactly, because if you're unsigned and your song hits big, you don't have to pay any labels. Your music, like your proceeds are literally going to go to you and Apple, and that's it.
Right.
So what's really interesting is I read an article and like I saw a video that kind of confirmed that a little bit more detail. So you have Adele and then you have Chance the Rapper. Adele is signed with a label. Chance the Rapper is not. He's completely independent. So Adele was exclusive on Spotify. Chance the Rapper was exclusive on Apple Music. Adele sold more records than Chance the Rapper. However, in the short amount of time that he was exclusive and everybody wanted to hear him, Chance the Rapper made way more money because all the money, again, went to him and Apple.
Right.
And Apple also paid him extra to make sure that it was exclusive. So, it benefited the both of them.
For sure.
But that's interesting because now that means that, it's possible for you to be a success, win a Grammy. That is inspiring for other people who are artists. And that's what I really wanted to talk about, music on Fresh Geek Context, because we always talk about, comics and movies and TV shows, sometimes books, but music is really interesting to see how technology can enable artists to be profitable. You can literally do whatever it is that you want. You certainly have the social networking because there's a new song that's out called I'm the One with DJ Khaled. DJ Khaled's a funny character, but he makes good music. I'm just going to say that. But it's all there. It's out there. It's available. It's accessible. If there was ever a time that you really wanted to get into music and you didn't think it was possible, you couldn't be more wrong. I'd say get on board, do it now. It's attainable, guys. It's absolutely attainable.
For sure.
So let's talk more. We always been talking about the radio. Radio is really interesting to me because there's the Beats One radio station, which is something that was there since its inception.
Yep.
And this actually came out after the landmark deal. I think it was the most expensive deal that Apple has ever made. They purchased Beats, and it looks like they were planning on creating a radio station of some kind.
Right.
But after they were purchased, they kind of folded them into the mix and incorporated it onto Apple Music. So Beats One Radio from the very beginning has been free. So whether you subscribe to Apple Music or not, Beats One Radio is there for you to listen to. And it's available in pretty much how many countries? I think it's like 150.
Something like that, yeah. I agree.
Something like that, right. So I think that's interesting. I don't know if you listen to Beats One Radio at all.
I do every once in a while. If I want to see if every once in a while they play something new that I haven't heard before, and I'll be like, oh, that's cool, and then I'll add it to my playlist and things like that.
What I also find really interesting is that Beats One Radio is actually a live radio station. There are people that are listening to, and it's live. It's live in no matter where you are in the world. The music that's playing by those DJs, everyone, like if I listen to it now, and you were to listen to it now, we're both listening to the same song. So there is no changing that.
Right, so that goes back to what you were talking about in the other three. It's radio, but it's not radio with somebody playing it, with somebody behind it. Beats One has that human element that you were talking about.
Has a very human element, and they also tout this human curation, which I gotta say, it feels human. I don't know how they're doing it. I really would love to dive deep and find out what exactly is happening between, the people that are curating it and how they deliver it to my devices. Because the music that they're choosing is great. Like things that I never thought that I would ever want to listen to sounds great. Like honestly, it's awesome in that retrospect. They also have iTunes Radio, which is interesting because before Apple Music came out and Beats One Radio came out, iTunes Radio was absolutely free. It really wasn't a popular option, but after Apple Music, there was a short time frame where iTunes Radio was free, but I think maybe after 6 months, they moved it from free to folded in with the Apple Music subscription.
Correct. Yeah.
So yeah, listen, if you guys are interested and you don't want to try the free trial, which we'll talk about at the very end, you can try Beats One Radio and you can just listen to that as much as you want. Unfortunately, there's no way for you to download that. You need a live connection. You got to have Wi-Fi. You got to have cellular. It will certainly burn through pretty much your data if you have limited amount. If you have unlimited, you may get lag after a certain while when they start throttling your data.
Definitely.
But yeah, it is a household name, I would say, right? I think we mentioned that before.
Oh, definitely.
We mentioned shared playlists. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. I honestly don't really share too many playlists.
Okay.
I think I share one with a friend of mine.
Right.
But the cool thing is, because Apple Music is integrated with the rest of iOS, you can easily create a playlist, and then it'll actually give you the option to send it via the Messages app, and then boom, you're straight off into there.
Yeah, I do like that. That's fun.
Which is cool, and you can do that with individual songs as well.
Right.
Which I like. So the integration with the rest of the apps is pretty great.
I do use shared playlists. I don't know if I'm in love with it though, because I don't know. I can't. It's not collaborative. I don't think. I mean, I've tried. I don't think I've been successful with this. But if somebody were to share a playlist with me, they can add music, but I won't be able to add music to it. So that collaborative feature, I don't think is there. If it is there, it's not really user friendly because I haven't figured it out as much as I've tried.
Sure.
But the user interface is also a point of contention. I'm not saying it's bad, but they've changed it twice within the 2 years that it's been out.
They have. It's a little weird.
So it looks like they're trying to find their footing and seeing what's better. We'll see. June is around the corner. WWDC. If they change it for a third time, I don't to stick with something,
Yeah. Or if they do change it one more time, third time's a charm, and then
third time's I know it, but if they keep changing it, when I get used to something and then they change it again, I'm like, okay, I'm willing and game to try and figure out where they moved it to.
Yeah.
But it's not always the best. But I feel like it's as intuitive as it can be. You have the parts at the bottom if you want to listen to radio, if you want to listen to For You, and listen to your music. There's also iTunes Match, which is something that we were talking about before with Google Play Music. Now, iTunes Match is a paid service that you can sign up for, which is absolutely separate from Apple Music and allows you to sync music that you have directly to your Apple ID, which I think is interesting.
Yep. However, if you subscribe to Apple Music has that included. So you can technically have both.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so if you're subscribed to Apple Music, you can still upload your songs to the iCloud Music Library, which is
no, you need both.
Nope, I do not subscribe to iTunes Match.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah, I don't subscribe to Match, and I have all my songs in iCloud Library.
Wait a minute. So you mean to tell me I'm paying for two services and I don't need to?
You could be saving money, bud.
Wow. Okay, so I'm totally saving on $25 for next year.
Yup.
Wait, I need to... You're serious? You're going to have to show me that.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Okay. So, moving along, it does work with Shazam, which is great because when I tag music, there's that. There is kind of an Amazon feature built into the iOS with Siri. You can ask Siri to tag a song, but I don't really find that it works all the time because you're talking into the microphone and it's listening to you and listening to music, so it says it can't hear you. And then when you're trying to find a list of songs that it's tagged for you through Siri, you can find it, but you have to dive really deep into the system, and it's under kind of like your wish list. And when you look under the Siri tags, you can see all the songs that you've found. So there's that. There are ads, but the ads are only on the free Beats One radio, which is free no matter what. So,
Right.
and the advertisements that you get are like, it's not local. It's very much something that's been put there on purpose.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't think it's a hindrance. It's like when there's a break in the music, they'll play ads, kind of like a regular radio station.
But yeah, I really really like Apple Music. So
I do too. At times it can be overwhelming, but I don't feel like it's obtrusive. And by
Definitely
overwhelming, I think like with those user interface changes and designs, that's when it's like, well, I don't know where anything is. The other thing that really bothers me is that it seems very hard for the service to figure out the difference between my music and Apple Music. Like on iOS, it's not easily defined at all. And so when I'm playing music, sometimes it's playing an instrumental of something that I have on my iTunes Match library when it should be playing something on Apple Music. And that drives me insane. Like, I don't know if that happens to you, but it happens to me quite often.
I don't think that's happened to me too many times from what I remember.
Well, I remember contacting customer service, and they said, "Yeah, we'll note it," but they haven't fixed it yet. Apple TV is not a problem, by the way. Like Apple TV is not a problem. My Mac is not a problem. iOS, iPad, that is absolutely a problem.
Weird.
It is. And the other thing that I wanted to bring up was, I don't know if it's a music service or a video service because it looks like TV's on the way.
It's a everything service. Like, I guess Apple really just wants this to be like the place where they have their content. So they start with music, and then maybe it becomes video on the way because I know they have a few like little shows that they put on Apple Music and stuff.
Carpool Karaoke is made. It's just delayed as of this moment. There's also Planet of the Apps, which I saw the trailer, and that actually looks interesting. Kind of looks like Shark Tank, but for app developers.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, that looks interesting, but like I don't know if this is going to evolve. We'll certainly see, by this year.
Yep.
There's also offline use, which is great. Just like taking trips down to Pandora.
Correct. Now, wait, are you talking about the service?
Yeah. Well, no, it could be Pandora the theme park.
Oh.
Like in Disney World.
Maybe.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's a hit for me. I certainly like it. I want it to get better, but it looks like it's still kind of morphing into something new.
Gotcha.
All right, let's talk about Pandora, since we were on the topic of Pandora.
Definitely. So, Pandora, I've been using Pandora for quite a bit. I still use it mainly when I'm at work, just because at work I can't really have my phone out, but I can have like a desktop. And on the desktop is where I really access Pandora from. So I'll listen to the radio services that they have. Now, Pandora is a little bit different from the rest.
Right.
In that we've been talking about the radio services through each and every single one of them. But Pandora is strictly that.
Just a radio service.
Just radio service, where it'll pick songs that sound like the artist or the song of your choosing.
But it's a digital radio service, not a live radio service.
Correct. It is a digital radio service.
And it's like one of the first popular ones, really.
Definitely.
It's been like one of the oldest ones out there right now.
Yeah, definitely one of the oldest and, still the biggest because I know a lot of people that still use Pandora primarily.
Yeah, I use Pandora sometimes. It depends on the situation, but I find that their curation was the thing that kind of pushed me away personally. But it's not that way for everybody. I know people that have been using Pandora for years and it works perfectly for them. But that's because they've put enough of their imprint on their account so it can produce music that they're looking for. I've never found that it worked as quickly as I would have liked it.
Yeah, I remember when I first started using it, it would play it would play a lot of different songs that I hadn't heard of because I was still getting into music and stuff like that.
Right.
And so for me, I was like, oh, this is awesome. I'm learning about these different artists. I'm learning about these different songs. Eventually, the algorithm that Pandora used to find those songs kind of got a little bit it's like, all right, this is your comfort zone, and it kind of started playing the same songs over and over again,
Right.
which I'm fine with because I like those songs. But I felt like after a while, it's just like I'm not learning anything new.
Exactly.
It's just the same.
Right.
And that's when you make a new playlist with a new artist, and then you start the process over again.
Yeah. Free account. I know you have ads, definitely.
You definitely have ads, and when you skip songs, you only have about 5 skips an hour.
Yikes. Yeah, I remember that from last time. Yep, that hasn't changed for a long time.
Has not changed. But, I mean, the good news is if you do, if you have the free account and you curate your station to your liking, you don't have to skip that often.
Right.
When I'm at work, I rarely have to skip because, again, it's so tuned. I'm listening to the same songs over and over. It's fine.
Right. Which is good. Customization, I know you can give it a thumbs up or thumbs down.
Correct.
Which is fairly simple. I know that's a tried and true feature.
Correct. Yes.
Paid subscription. I know people like you, former roommates, they all had Pandora. I only used a free one simply because I didn't find it worth it for me. Like I really tried. I did, but it didn't work out for me.
I have not done the paid version. I have strictly stuck with the free version only. Mm-hmm. That's been enough for me.
Right.
But yeah, if you do the paid subscription, you have no ads, you have unlimited skips, and there's also you can do higher audio quality, and you can actually download certain songs for offline use.
Really? So it is on demand, or no?
It's not on demand unless you do their even more higher pricing tier.
More higher. Got it.
More higher.
All right.
More higher.
User interface. I feel like this is pretty standard. It's not really that complicated.
Yep.
It's available on all platforms.
Yep.
I mean, really, it sounds like if you just want to, get your intro, like put your foot in the water, you want to see how, like, music streaming services work, go Pandora.
Definitely. That Pandora is like the starter.
It is absolutely the starter, and it's, I think it's like out of 1 in every 3 or every 5 cars. I remember reading an article somewhere that said that Pandora was everywhere, and it looks like they're, utilizing their country music, relationships that they have with, music labels.
Right.
And pushing that through. So I think Pandora is going to be around for a while.
For sure, yeah. And Pandora does also have a free trial, just like the other guys.
Yep. How many days?
Free trial, 30 days, about a month, same as the other guys.
Oh, getting back to what I was saying before about Apple Music, because there's so much to talk about. Sorry, I just legitimately forgot about this. The free trial that they have is not 30 days. It's actually 3 months.
Yep, you get 3 whole months to try out Apple Music. So everybody gives you 1 month, they give you 2 extra.
Yeah, that's pretty...
Which is really, really cool.
That's really cool, indeed. So, free trial for Pandora, 30 days. Apple Music, 3 months.
Correct.
Enjoy yourselves.
For sure.
And now there's Tidal, which is interesting, because I've tried that one for a little bit.
So this one... So far, I think I'm 5 for 5 that we've talked about that I've used. We get to number 6. Have not used this one, so this is
not
all you.
Used Tidal. Oh, not used Tidal.
This is all you. I know nothing about Tidal.
I mean, so I tried it for a little bit, and by trying it for a little bit, I tried the 30 days free trial, which we'll get that out of the way.
Sure.
And I knew somebody who was very much into Tidal. Like, he was totally on board with it, and he told me all about the service, and he like took me through like a personal tour. And I'm like, okay, this sounds interesting. But I don't know what it is. I could not pull myself to pull the trigger. And this is interesting because getting into exclusive content, Daft Punk was like part of the group of artists that were, on the forefront of like advertising Tidal. One of the things that they really had been pushing was their higher audio quality, which is something that mostly all of the services largely ignore for the most part.
Right.
iTunes has been, taking flack for this I don't know if I should even say that word because that's actually a word that I'm going to be using in a few seconds.
Right.
But they literally, iTunes have been taking flack for this because of their lack of audio quality. They use MP3, but there's, like we said in Learning Time, a lot of audio quality gets lost when you convert them into MP3s. If you just want to listen to the song because it fulfills a need that you're looking for, then it's awesome. But Tidal actually has something called FLAC, which actually stands for Free Lossless Audio Codec. So there's actually 2 tiers, and there's actually a store, which is the other thing that I wanted to bring to your attention. When you buy an album on the Tidal store, you can actually do an MP3 version. So a regular album will cost about $9, which is normal from what you and I are both familiar with.
Sure.
But you can also get the FLAC version, which is the same album with better audio quality for about $19.50 or $20, if you're adding in tax.
Wow.
Which is
like doubled.
Crazy. But if you have really nice speakers, like if you're getting Sonos or if you're getting, like a high quality kind of speaker and it has Tidal kind of built into it, or you can plug in, direct audio into that system, it's going to sound amazing. Now, I'm not an audiophile. However, I can appreciate what audiophiles bring to the table. And I can appreciate, different albums that really immerse you into that whole experience. For example, I don't know if you've heard of Demon Days, Josh, but...
Have not?
You need to. By Gorillaz, it was their second album. I heard that on vinyl, on legit speakers. I don't even know what it was because I was at a friend's house. And that is a completely different experience. Completely different. So if you're into audio, like really listening and immersing yourself in the audio, Tidal is going to be the thing for you.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's only been around for 2 years, so they've been doing pretty well. Their exclusive deals that they've been having, it looks like they've been dropping off because a lot of people have been leaving to go to Apple Music. So there's been this tug of war that's there. Kanye West was on the forefront of that. He, had some albums that were exclusive to Tidal, and it looks like he changed his mind last second and, started pushing it on Apple Music. Personally, I think it's just Apple Music has a lot more subscribers, so it doesn't make sense for, Kanye West to say, we're only going to use Tidal. What about all those guys? Like 20 million subscribers is a lot.
Right.
So why would you cut your own bread and butter when you know that you have fans that are there? There was also some news recently about Jay-Z pulling his catalog off of Apple Music. I checked that personally, and it was gone for like a day or two. And then they put it back, but they did keep it off Spotify. So this is what I'm talking about. And after we talk about Tidal, I'd like to talk about the cons of all this crap that's happening. There's also this really interesting thing called Tidal X, which gives you exclusive backstage access into like live concerts, which I think is interesting.
That's pretty cool.
I never had the opportunity to actually sit down and watch a concert. I know Apple Music has concerts that are streaming live. I don't really see the difference, but if you're looking, you're paying attention to the higher audio quality and potentially backstage interviews and stuff like that, which I think is something that they mentioned, but I'm not too sure.
Sure.
I can see why this would be something that is more agreeable for you. There is compatibility across the big four: Mac, PC, iOS, and Android. There's also a web player, human curation, split tiers for high quality music and MP3, like we said. There's also a feature called Audio Search, which is kind of like Shazam. I did try that. I find that Shazam is probably the best. And I can see why they wouldn't have it integrated into Shazam, because that would eat into their own features.
Wow, okay.
But there's also no radio, so there's also that.
That stinks. But that's fine.
But let's get into the problem now. Now that we've discussed all of these features and these services.
All right, what's the problem?
The problem is the war on the digital exclusivity. Pre-1996, you wanted a music, you go to the store, like Sam Goody, The Wiz, FYE.
Oh, I remember those.
Yeah, right? And then you got the music. The album typically cost anywhere from like $13 to about $20. There was definitely price gouging happening here, but then there was a lawsuit that developed for this particular practice. In any case, music was getting more expensive, but there at least was availability. If you wanted Mariah Carey, you wanted MC Hammer, you wanted to get that CD, you go to the store, you want whatever you want, you get the CD or your cassette tape.
Vinyl, 8-track.
Right. But then Napster comes along, pre-1998.
And then you also had Kazaa, LimeWire, and Morpheus.
That came out after. Man, I remember Morpheus. That was a flash to the past.
I wasn't a fan of Morpheus. I didn't really use it too much. But, I mean, after those, though, we had torrents, right?
Right.
But now we have this digital frontier of the music landscape.
That's right.
It was all brought to order with Apple and the iTunes Store, right?
Mm-hmm.
With the infamous chart from Steve Jobs talking about what the problem in this digital landscape of music was.
I remember that. Yeah, it solved the price point, right?
Right.
There was the ease and accessibility, and it even provided a music player, the iPod, that was equally easy to use.
Plug and play.
Plug and play. I remember the iPods. No, I'm sorry, not iPods. See, this is how ubiquitous it was. You called MP3 players iPods, but right. I remember using MP3 players before the iPod.
And how were those?
Terrible. I had a Memorex MP3 player. I had another one, which a name that was completely forgettable. The damn thing never worked, the way it advertised it anyway. But it always shut down on me randomly. The Memorex one actually shocked me electrically. It was it was dangerous to use.
And then it took forever to get the songs on the discs.
Yeah. If you had an error, when you were actually writing the whole thing, you had to start the whole thing all over again.
Remember CDs and CDRs and CDRWs?
Yeah. Guys, if you don't know, CDR stands for Compact Disc Readable, and then it was also Compact Disc Rewritable.
So CDRs were permanent, by the way. One-time recording, no pressure, right?
But now we have music, more accessible than before. Music companies, for whatever reason, think that this is bad.
Yeah, I think it had to do with the fact that they had less control or, less profit, something like that. It's undetermined. So
there were these artists, big name artists, that were left out of the digital fray.
I think there were, who was it? Beatles, AC/DC,
yes.
Prince.
Yes, Prince. That was the most recent.
Yeah.
But they're all here now.
Right.
And now there's an active war that's going on right now. It's still happening.
Is it a war, though? I mean, it's more of an internal struggle, I feel.
It's a war.
I feel like it's a massive exaggeration. Inconvenience, at least.
It's annoying.
That's it. Annoying.
Okay, so Jay-Z is the owner of Tidal, also coupled with Sprint, who now owns a third as of January of 2017. Purchased it in 2015 after an acquisition. Apple Music also debuted in 2015. People are caught in the crosshairs.
Not a war.
Okay, so let me get this straight. If I want to listen to a Beyonce album as soon as it comes out and it's exclusive for 2 weeks on Tidal, and I'm a huge fan, but I use Apple Music, what am I to do?
I mean, shouldn't be a question, right? Just sign up for the service.
You make it sound so simple.
It is, though.
Oh, but the music services want me to pay twice.
You can cancel it. I don't know. I just don't see what the big deal is. You can cancel it with no fees, right?
Yes.
So what's the problem?
Your Zen Geek approach is throwing me off. The problem is, how much money am I actually spending? I'm going to pay just to listen to it and just cancel it? People have stated that this struggle of exclusivity pushes people towards pirating again.
I mean, if you say so. But at the same time, you can still just purchase it and listen to it as many times as you want. That's still an option.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
Personally, I mean, I think this digital music struggle is pointless. Eventually, they're going to catch on to how pointless it is and stop making the customer pay for this back and forth,
Well, are you talking about, the music labels or the music, the guys that are actually selling the music, like Tidal, Apple Music?
Labels.
Okay. Oh, well, I guess you've spoken like a true master, Josh.
Oh, I thank you.
Okay, so let's talk about the end of it all. Let's talk about how much each one is actually costing.
Sure. So we'll go through there's 6 really, really quickly.
Yeah.
So Spotify. If you want to get Spotify, it
Single
is...
use.
Huh?
Single use.
It is $9.99 a month.
Yeah.
And for family, it is $14.99, I believe.
Yep.
All right, cool.
Okay.
So if you wanted to do single, it's $10. Family, $15. I believe that's up to 6 people, correct?
Correct.
And this is for most of them. If you do family plan, it's usually 5 or 6 people that they allow you to do.
And for the most part, I think all of them were said 5.
Yeah. I know Amazon is 6, but we'll get to that in a second. Or Google Play, excuse me, is 6. There we go.
Right.
So for Google Play, you do have an individual monthly plan of $10 a month as well, or $14 for family members for up to 6 again.
Correct.
Now, Amazon gets a little bit crazy. We slightly talked about it. If you have an Echo Dot, it's $3.99 if you sign up with Alexa.
Correct. Which is awesome.
However, which is really cool, yeah. However, if you're a Prime member already and you want to upgrade from the regular Prime to the Music Unlimited, it's $8 a month for you, or you can just do the entire year for $80.
Right.
Either one.
Okay.
If you're not a Prime member at all, it's $10 a month, which sounds familiar.
Right.
And $14 a month for family plan as well.
Right.
Cool.
Okay.
Want to take the other 3?
Well, you do Pandora because I haven't actually looked at that one. I think it was $4.99 if you are just a single user.
Correct. Yeah.
Pick
so
individual songs for $9.99. Correct.
Correct. Exactly. And now there's no family tier for Pandora.
No family tier. That's why I didn't like Pandora. Okay, now I'm remembering.
Yeah. There's no family tier, just the $4.99 or the $9.99 option.
Single user. There's multiple people in your family.
Correct.
Have fun with that. Or pay individually for each person.
Yep.
Pricing model for Apple Music is pretty similar to everybody else. $9.99 for single use. If you have a family, up to 5 users, $15 a month. And then you can also do, if you're a student with a student email, you do $4.99, which is about half the cost.
Correct. And Spotify, I believe, does have a student as well.
Yes, they do.
I want to say that's $7.99, or is it $4.99 as well?
I don't remember that one, but I can tell you Tidal is $10 a month. There is also a value plan, which is $8.49. It's 6-month prepaid though.
Oh wow!
So that's interesting how they do that. And then you can do your free trial, which is again 30 days. There's also a family plan. It's $14.99 a month. Includes up to 5 family members, and there's a 30-day free trial there. Gotcha. There's also student plans, which is $5 a month. Same 30-day free trial if you wanted to try that. And let's see here, military plans, which is the first time I've seen it anywhere.
Really? That's interesting.
Which is $6, and I'm pretty sure there's a way that you can, show that you are serving in the military.
For sure, that's pretty cool though.
So 40% off for military subscription, 50% off if you're a student, family, cough up the dough, $15. I think that's standard. I think that's standard for pretty much all of them.
Definitely. I mean, they all had similar pricing points. It's just, what you prefer at this point, what sounded like had the best features, and things of that nature.
Yeah, I can understand the competition. I just don't like. I know you say it's not a war, but I don't know. It seems silly for somebody to say, "Oh, we're gonna have it for like 2 weeks."
Maybe in the future this will all stop. So we'll see what happens.
You are very hopeful, my friend. But
very, very hopeful.
I think that's all we have for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll tell you what. If you like what we had to say, you can follow us on Twitter. I am at Jace Rockland. And Josh.
I am at JCA90. You can also find us at freshgeekcontext.com or at FGC Podcast, or email us at freshgeekcontext@gmail.com. I messed that up so badly.
You can also visit our website at freshgeekcontext.com for past episodes. And lastly, if you could, please hit that subscribe button for us on iTunes. It goes along for us to know that you're still listening. You can go to the podcast section or the podcast app on your iPhone or iPad and share with your friends so they can be Fresh Geeks too. Everyone, have a good one.
Don't mess up like I did.
Just like I did.
We both
have a good one.
Bye.
Have a good one.